It is Hispanic Heritage Month, and I wanted to make sure that I did a video highlighting some of my favorite books that are celebrating Hispanic heritage. I actually teach in an area that has a lot of English language learners, specifically of Hispanic origin, and I try my best to make sure that I always have some books that reflect their culture and language as best I can. So I wanted to include in this video a couple of my favorite Hispanic Heritage Month books. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Jenny. I am a certified teacher, doctoral student, and also a mom of two lovely girls, Alice, who is almost 18 months old, and Mina, who is almost 2 months old. I think it's so important to read to your child or children, no matter what age they are, and I think it's very important as well to have all sorts of diverse books to expose your children to all the different populations of people they may encounter in their lives. So even though my family is not of Hispanic descent, I find that it's very important to include these books in my child's rotation of literature because I want her to learn about the different cultures that she may encounter in her school life or regular life in general. The first book on my list for Hispanic Heritage Month is this one right here. This is called Chocolate Milk, Por Favor, and it is by Maria Dismodi. This book is super sweet. It's about a little boy that comes new to a school and does not speak English, and another little boy at the school that doesn't really like him because he doesn't speak English. However, over the course of the story, they learn to bond over things that they have in common and different skills that both of them have or don't have. So I love this book, especially with my second graders. I teach second grade. This is a great one for my students who are not English language learners to understand how they might be able to interact with some of their non-English speaking classmates. So this is a great one to teach empathy and also diversity. My second book is fairly similar to the first book, but a little bit different in the sense that this one is called Mango, Abuela and Me, and this is about a little girl whose grandmother doesn't speak any English. And the whole story is all about how the little girl learns how to interact with her grandmother, even though they have that language barrier between them. And then, of course, Mango is their little parrot here, and this is a really sweet book, and it's all about how the little girl learns how to interact with her grandmother even though they don't speak the same language, but also how they manage to bridge that language gap. Mango, Abuela and Me is written by Meg Medina. The next book on my list is Dreamers by Yuyi Morales. This book has absolutely gorgeous art, and it's all about an immigrant family who find dreams through literature and books. They wind up in a library and they basically get to explore the world through books. It is such a beautiful book, and I really recommend this one, especially for little ones that like lots of pictures. It's not a ton of words in this one, and it is a really, really lovely book. The next book on my list is Alma and How She Got Her Name, and this is written by Juana Martinez Neal. This is a really cute book about this little girl named Alma who has many other names in her name. She has a very long name, and the book is all about how she got her name. So it's her father telling her all about the different places that her name comes from, and of course by the end of the book she is very proud of where her name came from. So this is a really, really cute one, and I like it for the little girl kind of learning to celebrate her heritage and why she's named all the different things that she is. This one is near and dear to my heart because I named my daughter after one of my family members, so that is how she got her name, and this book just kind of reminds me of that, and I love the sense of family, and there's a real warmth to this book that's really wonderful. The next book on my list is My Poppy Has a Motorcycle. This is by Isabel Quintera. This is a really wonderful book about a little girl and her dad as they drive around the town noticing different things that have changed, but different things that have stayed the same. So dad is from an immigrant family, and every day after work he takes his daughter on a motorcycle ride. This book is very cute. It has a real sense of family, and I like too that they cover everything that has changed in the community, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of got a sense of home is wherever you make it. So even though things around them are changing, it's still home because she always has this time with her dad of riding on the motorcycle after work. The next book on my list is by an author that I absolutely adore, who wrote The Last Stop on Market Street, which if you haven't read that one, it is incredible. But this one is Carmela Full of Wishes. So this book is by Matt Della Pena, and It's all about this little girl named Camila. It is her birthday and she gets to go on an adventure with her brother. And every time she goes somewhere, she almost imagines what she'd like to see at that particular place. And of course, her brother, being the big brother, doesn't want her to come along, but they kind of learn to appreciate each other by the end, and Camila is very much full of wishes. And this is a very heartfelt book about an immigrant family and the different things that she is hoping for in her own life. You also get a sense in this book of how hard some of these immigrant families' lives are, so I really appreciate that aspect of this too. So if you have older children, that might be something you'd be able to discuss with them as well. But it's still really great for younger kids too, because it doesn't really harp on that or anything like that. It's not super upsetting, but it's a discussion you could have based on this book. The last book I wanted to include is a new find for me this year, and I think it is just such a fun story. This book is called Martina, the Beautiful Cockroach, and it's retold by Carmen Agradidi, and this is evidently a Cuban folktale. This story is all about this beautiful cockroach right here named Martina, who is looking for her husband, and her grandmother tells her, I want you to spill coffee on all of your suitors, and that's going to help you figure out which one is meant for you. Martina doesn't understand why that is what she's supposed to be doing, but by the end of the story you understand why her grandmother tells her to do that. So this one is a super fun one. I love that it's about a cockroach, and it's a really fun little fairy tale. So if your children like fairy tales, this is a great one. I cannot wait to read this one to my class during Hispanic Heritage Month, since this is a new find for me. Do you have any favorite Hispanic Heritage Month books? I know that there are so many out there, and I know there's a lot that I didn't cover, and I would love to know which books you enjoy reading to your child. While these are all picture books and not board books, you would still be able to read these with your child. I do read these with my 17-month-old Alice. I just have to make sure that I'm the one turning the pages so that she doesn't wind up tearing anything. If you're looking for other book ideas, I have a whole series of book recommendations because books are near and dear to my heart, and I will link that up here if you would like to see more books. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. I do all sorts of parenting, education content, and I would love to have you stick around. I appreciate you watching, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Take care.